तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति।
न पुण्यं न पापं न सौख्यं न दुःखं न मन्त्रो न कीर्तनं न वेदो न यज्ञम् अहं भोजनं अभोजनं नैव भोज्यं न तत्त्वो सदानन्दरूपम् अद्वैतं सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरम् सदानन्दरूपं शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम्। Neither sin nor merit, neither pleasures nor pain, neither sacred formulae nor sacred places, neither Vedas nor Yajnas. I am neither the eaten nor the eater nor the act of eating. I am the ever blissful one, one without a second, truth, goodness and beauty. I am that Baba. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Sai Ram everyone. Swami's blessings and grace. We have got wonderful guest speakers every week during our study circle program. As I said, we are celebrating the center's anniversary as well as Swami's Maharadhana Day. As a part of this, we have our other programs on Wednesday also. And last week we had Brother Srijit Narayanan, who shared us his experiences, spiritual experiences, and mentioned how the book came up with the blessings of Swami. That was really amazing. And this week we have Ramesh Sankaranarayanan. Brother Ramesh is from Chennai, India. He moved to the United States in 1998 and is settled in New Jersey in 2003. Ramesh has been in Swami's fold since childhood. However, he is into Swami's teachings and disclosures after 1995. Ever since he moved to New Jersey, he has been an active member and has been a vital part of our Edison family activities. Ramesh's interest includes reading books on spirituality and listening to disclosures and bhajans of Swami, and saints like Sri Jiddu Krishnamurti and Swami Ramana Maharshi. He works as a technology leader in mobility in the greater New York area. Brother Ramesh lives with his wife Srividya, who has been a SSA teacher for the past 6 years, and his 2 kids, Vignesh and Vishnupriya. In his talk, Ramesh will share the teachings of Swami on the topic of spirituality and a constant integrated awareness. On behalf of every one of us, I request and welcome Brother Ramesh to share his spiritual thoughts. Sayonara.
My humble pronouns to Swami. Saram everyone. I'm here today to, it's a great pleasure for me to be here in front of everyone to talk to you about Swami. I first thank Chandra for giving me this opportunity, to talk about Swami's spiritual teachings. I think it's a great opportunity for me, to talk about Swami and his teachings about constant integrated awareness. This particular topic is very close to Swami. Constant integrated awareness has always been a very close topic where Swami has talked about this in his various discourses, right? Discourses and interviews. And I think I'll try to do my best to, kind of share Swami's teachings. I'll try to put together a kind of a spiritual presentation with the grace of Swami. I think I would be able to, present it to the best of my extent, right? So this is something which I'm not really very familiar with. Like I'm not an expert in this topic, but again, I will try to, try to present it in a way that everybody understands it, right? So the thing that we are going to talk about is, as I said, constant integrated awareness, and when you hear this phrase, I think many of you would be already familiar with it. I would think. So some of the questions that would come up in your mind when you talk about constant integrated awareness is, what is constant integrated awareness, right? So what does it mean to us for our daily life, right? What is constant integrated awareness? What does it mean to us? And why is it necessary? Why is it necessary? And do we really have it? And if not, how do we get it? So these are some of the things that are the questions that come up right in our minds when we talk about constant integrated awareness. And before we answer these questions, right, before we go ahead and answer these questions about constant integrated awareness, we definitely need to know a little bit about, how the human brain works, right? What are the at a high level? What are the functions of the human brain, right? So it's where from the human brain everything starts, right? If you want to get into a state of awareness, then you definitely need to understand some level of the functionality of the human brain. So I would be touching upon, some of the like main functions of the human brain, the components of the human brain, if you may call it, right? Like the mind, you have the memory, you have the thoughts in your brain, right? So let's first talk about the mind, right? At a very high level. I'm not going to go too deeper into this topic, but at least, talk a little bit about the mind, human mind, right? So all this, whatever you see in these slides are all from Swami's teaching. It's something that I have gathered by going through all the spiritual, discourses and reading some of the books and videos and all that. So you would be familiar with most of these things that I'm going to talk about. It's more like, I'm kind of reiterating what you already know, in many of these places when I'm through the session, when you kind of try to understand some more things. It will be like reaffirming what I'm saying, right? So when you talk about the human brain, right, the first most important thing of the human brain is the human mind. So if you look at the human mind, as Swami says, the capacity or the understanding of the human mind, right, is kind of limited. So as we progress through the spiritual journey, spiritual inward journey, what you would see is, what you would discover, right, is you'll get an understanding of your human mind as you make progress in your spiritual journey, right? So once you try to understand the mind is directly related to your breath. So it's kind of interconnected. And the mind as is being limited in the sense that the human, as humans we are limited. We are limited beings, right? We have a limited lifespan. Our body has a limited personality, right? And we also have a limited senses. Our senses are also limited. For example, our perception of our eyes are limited, our hearing or verbal capabilities are limited. So how do we get from a limited mind or limited senses, right, into a, how do we get from a limited, mind to the unlimited, right, from the limitless, right, if you may call it, right, limitless. So divinity is limitless, right? How do you get to divinity, which is limitless? Divinity has no boundaries, as you can see here. I just captured what Swami has said, right? So you see that divinity is limitless, divinity has no boundaries, divinity is infinite, all-pervading, vast and expansive, right? So how do we get to that? The first thing is, we need to understand the mind, we need to understand the limitedness of our mind, right? And from that limitedness of our mind, how do we get to the limitless? So what is that which is kind of working in conjunction with the mind, right? Mind works in conjunction with your memory and your thoughts, right? So if you want to understand the mind, you also need to understand the memory and the thoughts that goes along with the mind, right? So let's go into the memory now, okay? Let's talk a little bit about the memory, what memory is, right? So, so memory, if you look at it really, right, you can break it down or divide it into 3 parts, right? You talk about the past, present, and the future. These are 3 things in your memory, right? And it's time bound. It's directly related to time. Memory is related to time. So it operates, typically, or your memory operates in the past. That's what it does, right? You always operate in the past. Mind operates in the past. It goes to the memory and it operates from the past. And if you look at, as a human being, right, we are all time bound. We are all time bound chronologically and psychologically. Chronologically, we are bound by our age, as we age, our evolution, everything, right? And psychologically, if you look at it, it's bound like past, present, and future, right? So that's what it is. So the memory plays a very important role in the spiritual realization. The mind, memory, and thought are the 3 things those are the 3 main things that we need to take into account when we want to make any progress towards spirituality. So when you talk about the past, I can say we live in the past, actually. We live on memories. What we do is we project our future from the prism of the past. That's how we project our future. So the mind operates on the past most of the time, right? Or not almost all the time, I would say. Almost all the time. That's what happens. The mind operates on your past, on a past memory. So memory is a significant thing. And memory is the one which produces the thoughts. So let's go to the thoughts now. We need to understand a little bit about the thoughts, right? So thoughts, mind, memory, and thought. This is the 3 important things that we need to understand if you want to talk about how do you get an expanded, higher level of consciousness or a higher level of awareness, right? If you want to go to that plane from a plane where you are a person with an ordinary awareness. If you want to get into a state of a higher level of awareness, right? You need to understand these 3 things, how critical they are, what role they play, and so let's not go too much into the memory, but let me talk a little bit about the thoughts. So just before I get into memory, I will also talk about the me, right? Me is the I, right? The I you are referring to. The I am the person. A little bit of memory, I want to just finish off on memory a little bit. So when you talk about the me within the memory, the me is based on me. When I say me, it's I. I always refer to myself based on my past, right? So it's a collection of experience, it's a collection of knowledge, it's a collection of memory. That's what is a me. So the me is kind of an active. It's very active. So me is the one which is very active all the time. I is the one which is very active all the time. It's the one which is looking out for making relationships, going to people, making. It's the one which plays a very important role in progressing in your career, in your life, building relationships, both in your office and at home, and all this, right? It all revolves around that me, right? This me is very active, and it has a momentum, and that momentum is time. So that's why we're coming back to the time, right? So again, going back to the same old question that we talked about, some time ago, is how do we go beyond this me, right? How do we go beyond this me and go to a state of constant clarity? So when I say constant clarity, it's a state of awareness, right? How do you go there? How do you go to that state, right, of mind? So how do you do it? So it's not an awareness. We talk about awareness. We're not talking about a state where it is a kind of a mere matter of intellectual perception, right? It's not something unclear. It's not a matter of intellectual perception, but rather a perception of the whole being, right? So you are talking about the whole being be completely in a state of awareness. So that's what it is about the I that we're talking about. So let's go from I to the thoughts, right? Just a minute. So now thoughts, right? So what are thoughts? What are thoughts? Are based on a memory. They are outcome or byproduct of a memory, right? They are very superficial, right? They are the external response from your memory, right? It's a response from memory. Thoughts, as it is, cannot solve any problems because problems have come to being through thoughts, right? All your problems, whatever problems you're facing are through thoughts. So thoughts cannot solve your problem, right? So thoughts are like it keeps coming in your mind, and what happens is when these thoughts come in your mind, you're completely unaware. Most of the time you're unaware of the thoughts that come in your mind, right? So when you get aware of your thoughts, when you start understanding the activity of your mind, right? When you start understanding the activity of your mind, that's where the consciousness comes into play. So till that point, you're not conscious. Actually speaking, you're unconscious, actually speaking, at that point. And when you're not aware of your own thoughts, so you're not conscious about your thoughts, right? Right? So when you're aware of the activity of your mind, that's where the consciousness comes into play. So what does consciousness do? Consciousness is nothing but the process of thinking. That is consciousness. You're conscious about the process of thinking. So consciousness continuously records your thoughts into your memory. So that's why the whole thing is interlinked. The mind, memory, and thought is interlinked. All three. They operate in conjunction. All the three, right? So what happens is, when this memory, right, that you're talking about, when these thoughts that come up in your mind, pretty much. No, hold on. I'm just recollecting. No, I'm just recollecting. So all these thoughts are operating. All this mind, thought, and memory, they operate in conjunction. So I was talking about consciousness, right? That's why it comes. So the consciousness. What is consciousness? I just lost the chain of thought. Sorry about that. What is consciousness? Consciousness is nothing but a bundle of thoughts. So I was saying that the process of thinking is consciousness. Consciousness is a bundle of thoughts, right? So how do you get out of a state where you have a bundle of thoughts in your mind and you're conscious about those thoughts? How do you clear your consciousness? Clear your consciousness in the sense, clear the content of your consciousness, and come to a state where it's absolute consciousness. So going back to the same statement, right? How do you go beyond the state of thoughtlessness? How do you go to the state of thoughtlessness, or a state where there are no thoughts, right? So that is kind of the stepping stone for spirituality, right? Kind of, where you're heading towards spirituality. That's the beginning of spirituality, right? So in order for you to progress to that state, right, to clear your content, go beyond a state where there are no thoughts, there is no memory, there is going beyond memory, going to a state which is not created by the mind, right? That's what we are trying to understand. So how do we do that? How do we get to that state, right? To get to that state, Let's move on next slide. We need to see what Swami says. What does Swami say about our mind and our, how it operates and all that. So Swami says that our experience today is within the framework of our senses and our mind. But our attempt is to know the limitless, infinite, ever-pervasive, omniscient, omnipotent divinity. This is possible only when we go beyond the senses and the mind. So that's the key, right? You have to go beyond the senses and the mind, right? And also Swami says, you are not one, but three. The one you think you are, the one others think you are, and the one you really are. The one you really are is transcendence, limitlessness, infinity, the vast expanse of the universe. It is existence without boundary. That is the one. That is who I am really. As long as you have an attachment to the body, an attachment to objects, fear and suffering will be with you. Therefore, Krishna told Arjuna to develop his discrimination and rid himself of body consciousness. He told him that once he was free of body consciousness, he would be able to develop integral vision. So this is what Swami says. So again, it's being reiterated by Swami in many different ways that you have to go beyond the mind, go beyond the senses to realize and get to the state of awareness, constant integrated awareness. So, how do we get to this state of awareness? How is it possible for someone to get to the state of awareness? So, just to make this, what is awareness? What does it mean to be aware? It is a state where there is a small kind of I would say explanation given by Swami, where the difference between a person who is a highly functional human being, right? A difference between a highly functional human being and a person, average person, is that there's a common denominator for these two people. They both have unconditional love. That's what I'm saying. Both have that. But the main difference between these two people is the spiritual guru or the spiritual master or the highly functional human being has only unconditional love, nothing else. So that's the difference between a spiritual person and an average person with an ordinary level of awareness. A spiritual person is one who has a higher level of awareness, right? So when you talk about an ordinary person or an average person with an ordinary level of awareness, he always operates in a state of consciousness. Like there are three states of consciousness in which he operates, right? One is the wakeful state, or if you may call it, right? One is the wakeful state. Another is a deep sleep, and the third state is dream state. These are the three states of consciousness in which an average person operates, right? So if he wants to go to a higher level of consciousness, how does he do that? So in order for him to go to the higher level of consciousness, he has to go into spiritual sadhana. So there's many ways you can do spiritual sadhana. Spiritual sadhana is the path you need to take if you need to get into higher level of consciousness, right? So this spiritual sadhana is something we are going to talk about. It is something you have to make progress. It takes a while. It requires like a person who is very serious to find it. It's not anybody can do that, right? Tomorrow I become enlightened or whatever, right? You cannot do that. That's not the way. It's not a shortcut to do it, but it requires a really good amount of discipline, or if you may call it, and it's also a thing that you need not put an effort. It's something that should happen naturally to you, but it does not have a method, but it is through a process of negation where you attain that kind of level, right? That kind of an awareness. It's not a method. I follow this method. I take 10 steps, so I get into awareness. So if that is a method, everybody can do it. So this is not a method, right? This is more of a negation. You start negating many things that in your mind. So we will get to that. We are not yet there, but we will get to that topic next. How do you do that, right? What do you mean by negation, right? So now let's talk about the awareness. So when we talk about awareness, you will see that most of the human beings, as I said, they are ordinary level of awareness. They are affected by environmental stimuli, right? They constantly seek happiness, that's one thing. And as I said, it requires a spiritual practice for you to, get to the next level, a higher level of awareness, right? So when you get to the state of absolute awareness, right? The absolute awareness, this is the state where you experience the silence. Silence is the ultimate thing that anybody can get. I'm not talking about a silence, just everybody keeping quiet. That's not the silence we're talking about. We're talking about a state where it's the highest form of peace you get, an inexplicable or unfathomable peace that you get in your mind, right? Which you cannot express in words. It is completely devoid, and it's a completely a state of bliss and ecstasy. That's the state we're talking about when you talk about, highest form of grace is silence, right? So, I mean, if you really look at it, how do you define awareness? Just to define it, I was talking about silence. It's the highest state of consciousness. It's a state where the mind is completely pure, right? So in this state, the mind is completely pure. It has no limits. It becomes limitless, right? Again, it becomes limitless. So, and it's boundless and is omniscient and omnipotent. Something that is we already have in us, right? That's why I say we have to negate. It's not a method where you take steps. We already have it, but we have to see it. So that's why the negation comes into play, right? We have to negate certain things from your mind, certain things you have to do as part of spiritual sadhana, which is a process of negation where you come to realize the supreme awareness, right? Right? So, and it's like a mirror. When I say it's like a mirror just reflecting what's happened, right? A person in that state of awareness, anybody goes to him, there is no good or bad, there is no duality. He will be like a mirror to you. He will just reflect what you think. He will be a person who can take care of all your problems. He will be a person who can heal you. He will be in such an elevated level of awareness, and so that he can be a person whom you would always, you will always reach out to. You will always, look up to, right? He's a person who is completely enlightened, right? So that kind of enlightened being, that's what we're talking about. So he's a person who lives always in the now. He doesn't have a past, he doesn't have a future. He's always in the now. There is no time. It's this timelessness that we're talking about, right? This timelessness is the awareness that we're talking about. This timelessness, this awareness is nothing but the I, right? I was referring to the me or the I when I was talking about the memory. So that me and I is different from this I. This is the I of pure state of being, right? So we are going from that I, we're going from that I to this I, right? It is kind of a transition. It's kind of a transformation that you take from a state that is filled with thoughts, memories, and your operations of your mind and whatnot. And from that state, you make a progression, you make a transformation from that state to a state of pure awareness. So in order for you to do that, right, in order for you to go from this one state A to state B, right, that is a sadhana, spiritual sadhana that's involved in it. So we would cover it in the following slides. So let's see what Swami says about this awareness, right? What is Swami saying about it? What is awareness, right? So Swami says awareness is not given. It's not something he can give you. No, look, you have this, right? It's not something that can be given. Awareness is not taught. You cannot teach awareness. You can read a hell of books. A lot of books you can read. You can read all spiritual classics, videos, and all that. But again, you will not be able to experience it. It is something that you have to discover, right? It has to be brought out in you, right? And then awareness is not inherited like properties. Awareness is not imported or exported or manufactured. Awareness is to be realized as that which already exists, right? Which already exists. Awareness is already existing. That's what he's saying. We already have that in us. And Swami also says, awareness is a complete comprehension, total understanding, right? It's a complete comprehension, total understanding, so that kind of total understanding should be kept in our mind throughout our life. That is why it's called constant. That's why he calls it a constant integrated awareness, right? So what is the state of a person, right? When you say he's in a state of constant integrated awareness, what are all the qualities of that person who is in that state, right? What would you expect when you say a person is in that state of awareness, what is that you would see from that person is a person who is in the state of constant integrated awareness is governed by peace, love, compassion, empathy, non-violence, forgiveness, reconciliation, and contentment. These are the qualities of a person who is governed, or who is in that, who is operating, if I can use that terminology, who is in that state of awareness, right? So he is an embodiment of all these, embodiment of peace, love, compassion, empathy, non-violence, forgiveness, and reconciliation, contentment, right? So again, like Swami says, silence, right, will fill the mind, and the person will be in constant bliss and happiness. So that will be the state when you are in the highest state of awareness, right? So how do I get to that state? What is the spiritual sadhana that we would be doing to get into that state, right? To get to that state. So let's kind of summarize this. So what we're talking about is the mind, which has a bundle of thoughts, which has thoughts ceaselessly occurring in your mind. There's no non-stop. It keeps coming in your mind, and you are completely unaware of the thoughts. And then once you start becoming aware of those thoughts, you get you're conscious about your thoughts. That's why the consciousness comes into play, right? And once you become conscious of the thought, and then the awareness, when you become conscious thought, you are going from, you're shifting from, consciousness shifts from, your consciousness shifts from one sensation to another sensation, one perception to another perception, right? Or one idea to another idea. It's a continuous shift, right? It keeps happening in your mind. Then the total awareness comes in. When the awareness comes into play, it gives a direct insight of the total consciousness. That's what you're talking about. So we're coming from a state of thoughts to consciousness, then to awareness. That's the way we make the progress, right? So let's talk about what is Swami saying about how do we get to that state of awareness, and what do we need to do as a spiritual sadhana to get that state. And there may be many different ways, but we are going to talk about meditation, which is one of those ways of getting into this state of awareness, right? Gradually you would get to the state of awareness. So let's get into the meditation, right? So meditation. So let's try to understand what is meditation. Again, what is meditation? Meditation, right, is to be aware of thought. That's the first thing you need to be aware of in meditation. Meditation, first you be aware of thoughts, of feeling, never to correct it, never to say it is right or wrong. So there is no kind of justification or condemnation of your thought when you're meditating. Thoughts occur, you just see those thoughts. You don't react to those thoughts. You don't justify or condemn those thoughts. You don't associate yourself to those thoughts. You don't associate to their feelings. You just keep watching those thoughts. You just keep watching it. And you try to understand the total phenomenon of the thought rather than getting into the specifics of the thought. There is no analysis, there is no examination. You just objectively look at it. That's what you do when you're doing meditation, right? That's a first step that you would do as part of the meditation. So that's what Swami says, never to say it is right or wrong, never to justify it, right? Never to justify it, but just watch it and move with it. Thought is a continuous movement, right? Thought is a continuous, it keeps moving, drifting, one thought or the other, and it keeps going on and on, right? So in that watching and moving, with that thought, with that feeling, you begin to understand, right? You begin to understand and to be aware of the whole nature of the thought and feeling. That's where the awareness comes, right? And to see all this, to see the movement of every thought, to understand it, to be aware of it, is to come to that silence which is meditation. As you get, over a period of time, it is not in one day I try to get an understanding of it. It's over a period of time, because your mind is in a kind of a situation, I would call it, because it has been conditioned for years and years of conditioning right from your childhood, right? So your mind has been conditioned from your childhood, and there are so many different experiences, so many different fears, anxiety, and everything is tied with an emotion, tied with some kind of a thought and everything. It's a very complex thing. And when you sit down and start to meditate, the first thing you encounter is a bundle of thoughts that keeps popping up in your mind, right? And all you do is you keep watching those thoughts, and you allow the thoughts to subside. You don't analyze those thoughts. You just look at the thoughts, gradually try to just see it and see it holistically, and be in total contact with the thought, right? So that what happens, you become the thought. There is no divide between you and the thought. So that's where you start meditating. When you are subject and the object. We will touch upon that actually. So you are the observer of the thought, and the thought is what you are observing, right? So that's the divide. So when you become the thought, when you come to a complete contact with the thought, and you get a complete understanding of the thought, right? In that state, it is a state where the thought will disappear from your mind forever. So that's the way the cessation of thought happens. So we don't do this for each and every small thing that we have, but we do it over a period of time. We have to, it's a practice, right? Over a period of time, you will start, understanding the nature of the mind, how the mind operates, how the memory operates, and how everything fits in together, right? And that's where you would gradually, come to a state of awareness of the whole nature of thought and feeling, right? And so what you understand it, and to be aware of it, is to come to that silence, which is meditation, in which the observer never is. So there is no observer. So you become the thought, and you attain a state where there is neither the person who is meditating, nor the object he is observing, nor the process of meditation. Everything kind of merges into one, So that's what is the real meditation. That's what Swami says. Swami calls it real meditation, and that state is not attained overnight. It requires a considerable amount of spiritual sadhana, and it has to be practiced on a regular, if you want to attain to that state of mind, which is what Swami recommends. Some of the different forms of meditation that you can practice, right? Different types of sadhanas that you can practice, which you may be already aware of, and you would have gone to these courses or classes and all that, right? So one of those things Swami recommends is silent sitting. That's one form of meditation which Swami recommends. The second is Jyoti meditation. We have gone over that in Chandra's house. There was a class on Jyoti meditation. And we have been not only Chandra's, many other places we have done that, but I was in Chandra's house for that class actually. So that's why I'm saying Chandra's house has happened. And again, you have the Soham. Soham is very, very well known to everyone. It's the universal mantra for for this kind of meditation, right? Soham meditation. So let's talk a little bit about these meditations, what it is, and how do we do this, right? So let's talk about the silent sitting, right? So silent sitting, what does it mean? What do you mean by silent sitting, right? So in silent sitting, the most important thing in meditation, you have to sit still. You have to be absolutely still. You should not move. If you move, then there's a distraction. So you should never move when you're doing a meditation, and also you should sit comfortably so that you don't feel any kind of discomfort or distraction or any kind of getting disturbed, or so you don't. And it should be a very quiet place. It should be a quiet place. It should be a very a place where there's a lot of light and there is a lot of privacy and all that, right? You cannot be doing it in the middle of people walking around. So if you do that, then it will, because you're doing it for first time. So it will be whoever is doing it for first time, but people who are already doing it it should not matter. But people who want to get into meditation have to. These are some of the things they definitely need to take into account. Like cross your legs, sit absolutely still, close your eyes, see if you can keep your eyes from moving. So this is a very critical thing. This is a very key thing that we're talking about. See if you can keep your eyes from moving. What do you mean by that? So there is a direct contact of your eyelids, right? Eyes to your brain. If you do not move your eye lenses or your eyes and keep it focused on one particular position, your brain activity will cease. Your thought activity will cease. So that's why you should never, when you close your eyes, do not move your eyeballs. keep it static, so it has a direct impact on your brain and on your mind. So your mind becomes static. It's a difficult thing, but it comes only by practice. So that's why they say you should focus on your temple. The whole idea why they say you should focus on your temple is because it has a direct connect to your brain. So that's why we are talking about, as you sit very quietly, find out what your thoughts is doing. That's what you do. That's what, again, you go back to the same old thing, right? Same old concept, right? Of thoughts, right? You go to that, you see what it's doing, watch the thoughts, the way it runs, one thought after the other. So you begin to learn to observe. So observing is the first thing you do. That's the most key thing that you do, just observing. As I said, without any condemnation, without any justification, without any kind of flavor adding to it or anything like that. You just observing thoughts. So only then your thoughts will subside. Otherwise you will keep getting thoughts in your mind, and so that's one of those things. To sit quietly means your whole body is relaxed, your nerves are not strained, not irritated, there is no movement in friction, you are physically absolutely quiet. That's important. So that's when it comes to productivity. You see the productivity in your meditation. Everywhere you always measure the productivity, whether I did it was a quality meditation or a quantity meditation, right? It's not a question of quantity, but the quality is more important, right? So we meditate at least 20 minutes a day to make a minimum progress. 20 minutes will take you to a certain extent, it will give you some, momentary benefits like, clarity of thought, clarity of perception, some kind of increased level of memory, increased level of, calmness, and some kind of peace you'll get. And all that you'll get. There are some of the side effects, if you may call it, right? Some kind of little bit of benefits you get. But if you want to attain the highest state of awareness that we're talking about, 20 minutes is not enough. It should be a part of your life. Like you should do more and more. You should spend more time on meditation, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Only then you will be able to attain that level of awareness that we're talking about, the highest level of awareness that we're talking about, right? So as Swami also said, as I said, Swami always says quality of meditation is important than quantity of meditation, right? It's no point sitting like 1 hour and you keep not focusing on or observing your thoughts, and you just go along with your thoughts and you get lost and you keep thinking about something else. It's of no use. It's just a waste of time. The more you follow those the thumb rules of meditation or the steps that I talked about in the previous slide, then it would be it would really help you in making, at least doing it right, doing it the right way, doing this particular thing in the right way. So, and regular practice, as I said, it's important. Regularly practicing meditation expands our internal reference point from constricted to expanded awareness, allowing us to explore our essential nature and restore the memory of our pure wholeness and inner bliss. So that's important. You have to practice regularly, and it should be done at the same time. If I do it today at 6 o'clock, next day I should do it at 6 o'clock. I should not do it, some other time. And regular practice is important. As you practice more and more, the duration should increase. Maybe you start with 20 minutes, after 6 months you make it maybe 1 hour, then you make it 2 hours, 3 hours. Then you would see you will be transformed and you will be a completely different person. And you will definitely be in a higher state of awareness. And you will be in constant contact with Swami. That's what you will get. If you get into a state of constant integrated awareness, you will be in constant contact with Swami, and you will be in the same. You will be merging with Swami. That's what pretty much it is, right? At the same level. So Swami says that silence is the only language of the realized. So that's another thing. Because you are in a state of total awareness, there are no thoughts, and you'll be like a mirror, as I said earlier, right? Just reflecting. That's what you'll be doing. So anybody comes to you, they'll have no questions. All their questions will be answered. Just coming and sitting. That's what our yogis and saints are like that, right? When they come, some people come with a lot of questions and would ask this, that, and when they come right in front of Swami or when they come right in front of a realized person, they don't have any questions. Because that is the state of awareness in which the person they are meeting is in. He's in that state, right? So that's the thing Swami is talking about, right? About silence is the only language of the realized. That's what Swami means by that. When he says silence is the only language of the realized, right? So again, sitting posture, right? This is a very typical thing, everybody knows this. So basically, you do a lotus posture or half lotus or cross-leg. So these are the different postures in which you can sit, right? And the second is the kind of practice of meditation is Jyoti meditation, which I think most of you know about Jyoti meditation, right? Where you focus on the light, right? This we already are pretty aware of this. We all know about this. And keep only the light in mind and expel all your thoughts. So again, everything boils down to getting out of the clouded or the cluster of thoughts, right? And imagine the light moving and encompassing your body. And it's a process which you can very well get into Swami's website and understand. It is a sequence of steps you need to follow and do this meditation practice. So Jyoti meditation is something everybody knows, and this is another way which Swami recommends where you can go to a different level of awareness or different state of awareness when you practice it. So he says when you do meditation, you have to take it very seriously. So that's one of those things Swami says. There's a small story in which Swami says, like in Vivekananda, right? Vivekananda from Math, he and his friends were having a game of the meditation, right? And they all sat together and they wanted to see who was very seriously doing meditation, right? And what happened when they started doing the meditation, so after a period of time, there was a snake. It was like a forest area where typically they go to an isolated place to do meditation. They don't want to do it in the middle of a lot of people, a lot of activity. So they went to a place which is kind of isolated in a forest area and they were doing meditation. And while they were in the process of meditation, there was a hissing noise that they heard. When they were doing meditation, one of those person heard a hissing sound during meditation, and that suddenly triggered that guy's attention, right? It triggered his attention, and he was looking for what is it? What is this noise coming from? And he was scared of the noise, and he started shouting and yelling and screaming, looking at the snake. It was a snake actually. So because of that, the other two people around right next to him also started fumbling and making noise and yelling and all that. And so they start to they were trying to kind of divert or kind of get Vivekananda's attention, but Vivekananda was completely immersed into his level of meditation. He was so concentrating on himself, absorbed in himself, right? Absorbed in himself, actually speaking, and he didn't even notice what's going around him. That is the quality we are talking about. When I said Swami talks about the quality of meditation, this is one of the stories which talks about the quality of meditation, right? Where you are completely absorbed, unaware of what's going around you, So when you are in that state, right, in that state of meditation, and these people ran away, and the snake which was there was there for a few minutes, and it just went away from there. That's one example. This story typically talks about an example how meditation has to be done, and how much of importance we need to give to the meditation, right? Now people can give, a lot of people who give a lot of excuses, they talk about they don't have time and all that, but if you really look at the benefits, right, forget about getting a high level of awareness, which is not an ordinary thing that any person can do that unless they are extremely serious about it. They cannot get into that state of highest level of awareness. But if you seriously want to reduce your stress level, which you can see everywhere on the internet, even in the many of these blogs and all this places, you have seen that people talk about reduced stress levels, reducing your blood pressure, increasing your memory, increasing your concentration, everything, getting more calmer, peaceful. All these are like, within a few minutes of meditation you will gain all this. It's not something unachievable which would take years and ages for you to get to that state. No, if you do 20 minutes every day, practice it for 3 months, you will start seeing the results. That's that fast it is. But people always think, I need to find a way out. No, I don't have the time to do it. I'm very busy, right? Most of people are like that. So that's one of those things, right? We definitely need to devote some time, right, on meditation. And we should take seriously, very seriously what Swami is saying, that people should definitely practice meditation. They should not give reasons, and that's why Swami has been stressing on this part, right? He talks about so much about CIA in all his discourses, in all his interviews, and he keeps reminding to everyone that you need to practice this. You need to bring it into your awareness that this meditation is an important part of your life, right? And your needs reduces, your wants reduce, and you become more contented if you do meditation. This is another thing, right? It's a very important thing. As your needs reduces, your wants reduces, you become more contented, you become less stressful and more calmer, and all that, right? All those things follow as you get into make good progress in that space, right? So the next one is Soham, right? Again, this is another method that Swami talks about. Soham is something which is a natural mantra. Everybody is born with that, which is nothing but a universal mantra, breathing in, breathing out, right? So and hum, right? Which is nothing but the breathing in, where you taking the divine inside you, expel basically you are taking the limitless inside you, and you are exhaling the limited out of you. That's what it means, so hum. So when you say so hum, so breathe in, breathe out, you just keep observing your breath, right? Again, this is also, you can practice like for 20 minutes every day. You focus on your breath, you see the vibration of your breath, and that should take care of all your. And another thing, your mind is directly connected to your breath. If you control your mind, your breath gets controlled. If you control your breath, your mind gets controlled. It's a direct relationship. So that's what controlling your breath also controls your senses. Controlling your mind also controls your senses. So these two are very tightly integrated, So that's one thing we definitely that's why we talk about 3 different levels. One level, we start with the mind, right? We start with the mind, which says silent meditation, which is completely based on the mind. The complete meditation process revolves around the mind, right? But at the same time, when you talk about Jyoti meditation, again, it's kind of revolving into the mind and your body, right? And when I talk about the concept of negation, right? When I didn't touch upon negation, right? Let me talk a little bit on negation, right? So negation is something when Swami says that you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not this, that, all your tags that go along with you. I am this, I work here, I'm a big guy, I'm a big politician, whatever, right? Now all that is a negation, right? And all these thoughts that are grounded, all these thoughts are grounded, and these thoughts are coming out of your memory, right? So when you look at these thoughts, you start negating those thoughts. You're not acknowledging them. You are just looking at them. You are trying to understand those thoughts, and you don't give importance to those thoughts, right? You are looking at it objectively, and you start negating those thoughts, saying that I'm not the mind, I'm not the body, I'm not all this. You start negating. Over a period of time, the thoughts will cease. Over a period of time, and you will get elevated. It is not a state where it's complete emptiness and you become totally blank. No, that's not the state. You go to an elevated state of awareness, right? It's a state of awareness where your consciousness crystallizes. Basically, crystallizing your consciousness, right? It takes time to crystallize your consciousness, right? So that's why Swami is in this. That is one of the famous discussions with Ted and Wayne Dyer. Many of the people know about Wayne Dyer, right? Who is a big spiritual talker. He's a professor, Dr. Wayne Dyer. If you want to go for his, spiritual talks, you have to pay thousands of dollars. I mean, he's a big guy. He has got hundreds of books on spirituality, pretty much, right? So he has talked about Swami. What is Swami? What is Swami? And he was saying, he was talking about Swami, what level of consciousness is Swami operating in? What is this level of consciousness, right? So he talks about 4 levels of consciousness, right? We have time, right? So,
5 on my.
Okay, I'll be finishing now. Right? So he talks about 4 levels of consciousness. One level of consciousness is that somebody says, I want to buy a strawberry ice cream, right? So I go to the store, buy the ice cream and come back. That's a normal level of consciousness, right? Another level of consciousness says, I want to buy a strawberry ice cream. He asks his son to go and buy it. He goes to the shop and buys it. There's another level of consciousness where he's in his same location, but he's not going out to buy that one. Third level is he thinks that I need to buy an ice cream, and somebody comes home with an ice cream. You know, with that ice cream, he comes home and gives it to him. That's the third level of consciousness. But Swami is in that level of consciousness where when he thinks about ice cream manifests in his hand. There is no time delay between his thought and the manifestation. So it's merged. That's why when we talk about merging, right? Merging of the observer and the process of observation and the object, right? That is the state Swami is operating in. So let me real quickly finish it off. It's about Swami, about meditation. In meditation, there are three aspects. The one who is doing the meditation, which is the subject, the object of meditation, which is God, and the act of process of meditation, right? These are three key things that we are talking about, right? Proper meditation or the culmination of the meditation occurs when these three factors, meditator, the person who meditates, that's the subject, and the object of meditation, the act of meditation, coalesce and merge into one. That's why you're really meditating. That's what it means. That's what Swami is saying. And second, in the state of meditation, the meditator, the object of his meditation, and the process of meditation have fallen away, and there is only one. It merges, it falls away. So there is only one, and that one is God. That one is God. All that may change has fallen away, and that thou art, Tattvamasi, is the state that exists. It is an experience of unity. Without the meditator being conscious of himself, that's the key thing. No, without the meditator conscious of himself, he's immersed in meditation. He's completely absorbed in meditation, right? As one gradually returns to that customary and habitual state of consciousness, the lamp is again placed in the heart and kept lighted there throughout the day. In other words, meditation is the meditator. That's what it is, pretty much, right? Summarizes that. So finally, this is again one other thing Swami has said. This is the nature of Atma, your own innermost reality. The reality is reminding you of its existence with every breath that you take. Soham, he, I. The self is repeating that it is not the limited, the prisoner held by the body. It is a wave of vast ocean named he. Inhale and the vast. Inhale the vast, exhale the limited. This has to be observed during the waking stage. So there are three states of consciousness. This is observed in the waking state. And pretty much when you are in deep sleep, the awareness of the body disappears. There is no awareness of the outer world, of which while awake you felt you were a partner. There is no so or hum, no he or I. It is all one. One integral whole. The breath then says, not so hum, but oh. So that's what it is, you know. And finally, we already talked about this. Let me not get deeper into it because we already touched upon that topic. Focusing your mind and getting to a state where you're in the stillness of mind, right? So that's still all talk about. And finally, what is the state of Swami? Where is Swami in? Which state is Swami living in, right? Operating from, right? Swami is a living example of total awareness. Swami is pure and loving. He leads life at the highest level of consciousness. We should all try to go deeper by expanding our awareness through meditation. The experience of silence alone is the real and perfect knowledge. So pretty much, that's it. I conclude my session. Maybe if you have any questions, you can definitely ask me, or you can get in touch with me. So once again, I thank Swami for this opportunity.
Sairam all. Let's give one more round of applause to Ramesh. Thank you, Ramesh, for sharing with us regarding our awareness, mind, and thoughts. So this is a very hard topic for me because my mind itself is not constant for any 1 minute also. If we can keep about the silent what he taught, we all think we are sitting in silent, but that is not the real silent. The silent is the when your mind is not working, it is continuously, you don't know what is happening. That is called the silence, what we referred over there. Thank you very much, and we hope everyone tries to start doing, like last 2 weeks back we thought of doing 9 times Gayatri and 9 times Surya Gayatri for the whole center welfare, and starting from from today or from tomorrow, the meditation is the one of the thing which keeps us moving on, removing us. I have a lady is not a lady. She's my a friend's mother, an aunt. She has the soham. She does the soham only. She gets up around morning 4 o'clock or 4:30, and one day I was sleeping in in their room, Bhagwan's room, because I was the guest. I was just sleeping over there. In the morning she was doing soham. By the time I woke up and saw, her whole body was full of sweat. I thought something happened to her, and I was yelling, my friend, hey, Sriram, come here, your mom is sweating over here, maybe something happened to her. But they said, no, no, this is daily we see this. Because with the Om, inhaling and outhaling, her whole back, the sweat is only through that one. So that is the work, that is the morning exercise she used to do, and she used to say me, with this I control my diabetes, I control my BP, everything is under control. So if anyone has any questions, Brother Ramesh is very good in meditation. He has done several, he has experience in several classes, I think so. And he is a follower of Jiri Krishnamurti and Bhagavan and all other saints. So if anyone wants, like how Murti Garu is teaching us yoga on every Sunday, same way, if you can get the benefit, if you want to know more about meditation, I know this is a short period to talk about meditation or anything. In more future, if you want, you can contact Brother Ramesh. Thank you once again, Ramesh, for your wonderful talk today. And I would like request Brother Karthik and Brother Ramakrishna to please come out here.